Hello and welcome to the sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Open Series featuring the Invitational. I'm Ken Crocker here with Will Erker. Will, here with the spicy one?
Yeah, it is very spicy.
Well, let's tell the folks at home how spicy. So we're here with an Esper tap-out control deck, basically.
Yeah, I basically flipped. I've been playing Esper Dragons a lot in Modern, and I play a lot of in Standard and a lot of Black-Green in Modern. I actually flipped for Standard and Modern. I figured I'd play Thoughtseize in Standard and then Ojutai in Modern.
Yeah, so you're playing like Dragonlord Ojutai here in Modern.
2 copies, yep.
So how good has that been for you?
It's amazing. The decks I expected the most would be probably the Fair decks, the Jund decks. It's not great versus the Counterspell decks, but with the way the deck's configured, you're like pretty good at like breaking apart the counterspells or forcing your opponent to counter other threats so you can resolve the Ojutai. But yeah, I mean against Jund, you just play it and they lose the majority of the time. The way the deck's configured, it's really good at protecting Ojutai if it can get into play.
Yeah, especially with Manamo.
Yeah, Manamo's awesome. Manamo's awesome. I haven't gotten to get anybody by untapping my Tasker or Vidillion Click yet, but Manamo's sweet.
Well, yeah, because you have all these legendary creatures, because you also have Tasker, Vidillion Click. And we got Snapcaster Mage, obviously, or tap-out control deck. You get to play Snapcaster Mage.
A little value.
But the spicy one, Glenalindra Archmage?
Oh, Glenalindra's awesome. It's so good. I love Glenalindra. It's just, again, I expected a ton of Fair decks, and it's excellent against the Fair decks. And it lets you beat the combo decks a little bit more. My deck's, it's like an Esper Rock deck in a way. It's kind of weird how it's built. But Glenalindra and V-Click let you have a little more game against the bigger decks or the combo decks just by breaking apart what they're trying to do and killing them before they can get a Primeval Titan into play. Or I lost a Genesis Wave earlier, for example. If I had Glenalindra, that card's very good versus cards like that.
So speaking of it being a little different, we don't have 2 cards that maybe most people would think that would be in Esper, namely Thoughtseize and Remand.
Yep.
So why are we eschewing those cards for some of the other choices you made?
The reason I'm not playing Thoughtseize is mostly because I wanted to have a little bit of a better matchup against Burn. I didn't think a ton of the field would be Burn, but I mean, that's a deck no one likes to lose to. And I don't think it's super necessary. I can, like a lot of the other, in particular Cryptic Command is good against me, so Inquisition is a little bit worse against that, but I have a lot of bigger cards than my opponent's bigger cards anyway, so if I'm missing their 4 mana cards, it doesn't hurt me as much as with the other decks. And then the reason I'm not playing Remand is, again, I was playing other versions of Esper in Modern, and the reason I was playing Esper was mainly Lingering Souls. I would just blue-white decks with Lingering Souls, but at times, if the game is slowly paced, then Lingering Souls is really good, but sometimes it's awkward when you have these mana leaks and remands and you want to play Lingering Souls on 3 because you have to get ahead, because you have to clock your opponent before you can have your counter spells up. Otherwise, it's kind of awkward. So I ended up with Liliana in my deck, which is kind of a weird card, and it's not very good with counter spells.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to sit and play and keep plussing it and get value by that, by having your opponent discard spells. And if you keep a counter spell, obviously you don't want to plus the Liliana. So
we have very little counter magic, but we do actually have some discards. So you're running Inquisition, Kozilek.
Yep, 3 Inquisitions.
The great one, Esper Charm.
Yeah, it's Mind Rot / Divination. Both those cards are broken. Why would you not? And Disenchant. I did Esper Charm or Utopia Sprawl to prevent a Primeval Titan resolving.
But
that's not great. I don't recommend that. That's not the best play. Yeah, no, but it's a great card. Again, it's really good versus the Fair decks. It's never a bad draw. It turns your Snapcaster Mage into Bolt Drifter, which is excellent, or instant speed him to Turok in your draw step. And it's very good with Dragonlord Ojutai because the way a lot of games play out, your opponent will maybe have 2 removal spells. You'll play the Ojutai. They'll have to leave it up, and then you can Mind Rot them, attack them, and start getting in with the Ojutai. And that play also goes the same for Vidillion Click. You can make sure the way is clear for your Ojutai, and of course Glenalindra Archmage, which is excellent. You play the Ojutai, it resolves. They leave up like a path or even 2 paths. You can play the Glenalindra, or excuse me, 2 paths wouldn't work because they could do it in response. But either way, you get to protect the Ojutai with the Glenalindra. Glenalindra's excellent versus other Lilianas, and it's also very good versus Lingering Souls because they have to kill it before their souls can get in.
And then we also have the removal suite, Path to Exile, Dismember, Go for the Throat.
Yeah, Go for the Throat's awesome. Again, I expected a ton less affinity because Kolaghan's Command is just
really good.
Yeah, the new best card in Modern. And it just happens to wreck that deck, kill your Cranial Plating, kill your other guy, whatever. So I thought I could get away with it. I didn't want Doomblade because Dark Confidant's getting played a lot more than it was before in the Jund decks. So that was basically the best removal spell I could come up with.
That's very good removal spell. Kills Siege Rhinos, kills Dark Confidence.
Tasker is important.
Which is a problem in the mirror. So.
Yeah, and I only have 3 paths because I don't actually think Path is the best card. It's kind of a necessary evil, and it's very efficient. But it's very awkward since there's so many Delver decks in the field. You don't want to path their Delver, and then they can just play all their other threats and leave up mana.
And then in the sideboard, we got some spicy ones too, so let's talk about those ones. So we got your normals like Sower Temptation, Timely Reinforcements, but we have a one of Hushwing Gryff.
Yeah, the Hushwing Gryff it could have been a Torpil Orb. It could have been a bunch of things.
Well, Torpil Orb doesn't attack.
Exactly. No, that's very true. It's very true. The deck's very good at getting in the air. I had 2 games against Jund where my opponent had like a Dark Confidant and a Tarmogoyf, and I played Lingering Souls, flashed it back, and attacked with 4 souls and a Tar Pit twice, and he just died.
Sure.
So having flyers is super relevant. The only ground guys you have are the Snap and the Tassiger, so it's very easy to get in the air. So Hushwing Gryff helps with that, but it's mostly for the Collected Company decks. Decks with Eternal Witness. You can board it in versus other Snapcaster decks, because my deck isn't the best Snapcaster deck. It's fine. It's just a value card, but I can board it out for the Cage and Hushwing Gryff in certain matchups.
Sure. And then you also have you actually do have at least one counter spell. You have a Counter Squall.
Yes, I was gonna have a negate, but I'm like, why not? The Counter Squall is awesome. It's very easy to cast the way the mana's configured, and the 2 damage actually matters in this deck because you're attacking. It's not a typical control deck.
Yeah, because it's more tap out, kill you before.
Yeah. Again, you have Tar Pits, Taskers, you have all these creatures that do a ton of damage, and Lingering Souls. So the damage adding up actually matters. And Counter Squall is just an awesome card.
So would you recommend this sort of Esper tab out deck in a field that's more Jund?
Yeah, if you think you're going to play against a lot of fair decks, I think it's very good versus Splinter Twin and Jund, Abzan, any of those types of decks. I haven't played a ton against the Amulet deck, which I'm not sure. That deck is like, nobody knows how good they're matched. Everyone thinks they're going to lose the Amulet. It's just like, it's a crazy deck. So I'm not sure about that, but Glenelindra can be good if you're not already getting Primeval Titan. And you have cheap removal to deal with their Titan too, and some discard spells.
Well, the deck seems super sweet.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun to play. It's great. I mean, you get to play with Esper Charms.
Yeah.
Most fun card ever.
Who doesn't love Esper Charms?
Yeah.
So thank you for citing us in.
We
appreciate it. Good luck with the rest of your rounds.
Thank you so much.
You guys stay tuned for more invitational action here in Columbus.